Okay, so I have some names here. They are your names. And this is our class roll in surname alphabetical order. Okay. So I've got all these names down here, and I've got me. You'll see why in a second. Actually, I think my name is last because you're right. Oh wait, no, I'm before. I should be before you, Lucas. I think. Anyway, that's okay. I'll let you stay there. Let's see what we can do with this. This is going to be a height calculator, okay? And you're like, what? Yeah, you are. So please make a new spreadsheet and start putting down these names, okay? Now you're like, well, height's not very interesting, but actually we can do lots of cool spreadsheet tricks with it, okay? So I'll give you a second to take some names down. Give you a second to do that. And because I've got my spreadsheet formatted a little too, like the font is big enough so you can read it, but that means I can't fit all the names all the way down. So do you remember, we had a trick, for how we could scroll further down like this, right? But still have that top row, this top row here, still have it visible no matter how far I scroll. Do you remember how I did it? How did I do it? Yes?
Go to view and
Yeah.
then freeze panes.
Okay, very good. So in case you didn't catch that, up the top here in the, Microsoft calls this the ribbon. So I don't know why, it looks nothing like a ribbon to me. But anyway, up in the ribbon you want to go to the view tab, okay? And then in here in the middle we want to freeze panes, okay? Click on that one. And the one we want is the top row, okay? So I'll freeze the top row.
Wait, I'm not listening, so I'm
Like so.
name.
That's okay, that's alright, we can catch up later. Now that I've frozen that row, I can scroll further down and you can still see name and height. Okay. So I'm going to do a couple of things. We're missing some people. So that I don't have gaps in my data, I'm going to delete those rows. Okay.
I don't have Abby's.
So I'll come back up in a second. So the easiest way to delete a row is to go over here to, so for example, I've got Brittany on row 21 here. Okay. So right click on the 21. On the 21, not on her name, but on the number. If you right click there and you can say delete, so that'll delete the entire row and everything that is or was in it. Okay? And everything just floats up. And we'll do the same for everyone else who's not here.
So does it matter if like everyone's rows? Oh no, wait, sorry, I missed Jared, right? Jared's the only
Did you miss Jared?
No, like I actually didn't type his name in.
Oh, okay.
I kept going. Is that going to affect my table?
Well, you'll have a different set of data to the rest of us. Okay?
Does that matter?
Well, it'd be nice to have the same. I'll show you how to put Jared in.
Yeah. So can you please scroll to the top?
Yeah, in 1 second. If I right click again and say insert,
Which number's Jared on?
anywhere you want really, but Jared's just above Andrea, so that's where I'd put it.
Alright, so what do I do?
Right click and then hit insert. Peter, can you see what you need now?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah? Okay, can you raise your hand if you've got all the data? Everyone? Yep. Hands up straight. Okay, excellent. Hands down. Thank you.
Jared, what's your height, man? Oh, wait, so when I pressed insert, it didn't change the number, the height. It didn't add an extra cell to the height.
Okay, I'll come to yours. I'll come to yours later on. Okay, so let's do a few fancy things. First, a very natural question is when you've got a whole bunch of values, right? Almost the immediate question when you get test marks back is like, well, what's the average, right? What's the average? So, yep.
How come yours goes from 1 to 7?
Because, remember, my top row is frozen. Yeah? So, okay, good. So, mine goes from 1 to 20 now, depending on where I am. So, to freeze, you want to go to the View tab,
Oh, and then
Freeze Panes, and you want the top row. Alright, now, I want to work out the average, and this is a spreadsheet, right? So surely it can work out the average for us. Here's the easiest way. You remember you start an equals an equation, right? A formula, right? If you wanted to add up a whole bunch of things, you'd say, take the sum, right? Well, if you want to work out the average, what do you think is the name of the thing we have to put in there? You just say, well, I want an average. There you go, okay? So if I open brackets now, and I'm going to select all of the heights, all of those numbers, okay? So there's a couple of different ways to do this. You can use your mouse and just drag and highlight all of those cells, okay? If you're going to use a keyboard like me, you can hit up once, okay? That's got my height now. If you hold down the shift button, and now cursor up, it'll go all the way up to the top. There you go. And I'm going to stop at Abby. Abby's the first one on the list there. Okay? And then if I hit enter, bam, there it goes. And there's an average height.
It just
Okay.
says name.
So if I press enter, it'll close the bracket for me.
So mine just says name question.
Okay, so something, have you, did you include the top cell?
Oh no.
That's
I
interesting.
don't have Abby's height. She's missing around.
Okay, hands up if you've got the average there. Does it show? Yep. Cool. All right, good. Hands down. Let's do some more before we move any further.
So am I highlighting name?
No, don't highlight that. You just want all of these numbers.
Oh, just the numbers?
All the numbers. I'll show you what I've got. I've got B2 colon B26.
And do we close the bracket?
Yep. So that's what it should have.
Oh, yeah, but
Yep. Okay, so that means go from one cell to another. Okay, good. Let's be a bit fancy, okay? Everything's so drab and black and white right now. So I want to do some formatting here. For instance, what I might like to do is color these heights based on whether they're smaller or greater, okay? So highlight all of the heights for me, okay? From my height up to Abby's height, okay? Or in reverse, if you like. Okay? So I held down shift and I went up and down until I've got them all selected. Alright, now, after that, I'm going to go up to the Home tab up at the top. Okay, here. Home. Everything's still selected. And then right there in the middle, well, pretty close to the middle, there's an icon that says Conditional Formatting, which is exactly what it sounds like, right? Namely, it will format things differently in however I like based on what kinds of conditions those values have, okay? So if you click on this, you get all kinds of different options. Look at this, okay? So one that I'm going to start us off with, and then you can go ahead and experiment, do whatever you like, is I like color scales, okay? So I'm going to go into the middle of the list there. And then you've got all these different things that you can choose to color by. So for instance, if you have a go at this one, right? So that's the bottom left color scale. It goes from dark green down to white, okay? So if I select that now, look at what's happened. Okay, what's going on? Now, based on how tall someone is, what value is in there, right? It's a deeper green for a higher value. Or as you go further down, you can see you've got sort of lighter ones for smaller values. Okay, so the darker it is, the taller that person is. Exactly right. Or I could do it in reverse, couldn't I? Okay, oh look, there's Sapir. He's the shortest person in the class. Okay, good on you, Sapir. Maybe you want to do it in reverse. Maybe a smaller number is what you want to highlight. So if you go back and you select everything, you go Conditional Formatting, Color Scales, and you select the one next to it. So you can see it's going to go from white to green in reverse. And now you can see my shortest person in the class, Sapir. He is the deepest shade of green. Okay, so you can go and experiment. There's heaps of little things there. Maybe you don't want colors. Maybe what you want is, if I go to data bars, what are those? Well, if you pick one, you'll see. Okay, let's pick out red. Red? Red. Okay, red it is. Alright, there you go. There's red. Now you have a look. The width of the bar directly corresponds to how tall someone is. So if I go up to Darcy, right, there you go. His one is full because he is the tallest person in the class, right? As you'd hope so. Hope no one's taller than 195 over here. So there you go. His is the fullest. And then again, if I come back to the shortest person in the class, his is the smallest as a proportion of the full height, okay? So 195 will go all the way there, and 124 is that little fraction. You can muck around with that as you click.